Hey everyone! So this is my first voiceover and I hope that you guys can hear me okay. But this is also my first time doing a client vlog and I really wanted to show you guys because I really like watching this myself. So here you go. So right now I was just cleaning her face, putting on moisturizer, and then I sprayed her face with some Mario Badescu spray. That was the aloe and cucumber one. Now I am doing her eyebrows. I'm using the BH Cosmetics brow palette, and I'm just using the brown and the black. It's like a liner, kind of like a gel liner. I'm just filling in her brows lightly and then setting it with some powder, and then I did some brow gel. Now I'm moving on to carving out her brows. I'm using a Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I don't remember what shade, but I always do this to my clients where I carve out the bottom of their eyebrow and also the top just to get that crisp, defined eyebrow. Now you see me blending it down to her eyelids where it also acts as a primer, and then I'm setting it with the Shop Miss A, the AOA Studio line, their pressed powders. This is in the shade Porcelain, and yeah. Now she asked for a really natural look, just something to enhance her beauty, and I started just using my contour palette by Maybelline, and I started using the bronzer, and I realized that it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. But that's okay. It's pretty buildable, so I just started to do that. Now you see me adding the liner. This is also from Maybelline. I didn't do a wing, just something to hide the lash band that I'm gonna put on her, which is really thin and natural. And you can see my grandma just in the background, and she's being all cute. Now I'm adding waterproof mascara by Maybelline. Just on her lashes. I always put waterproof mascara despite of what occasion it is. You never know if they're gonna cry. You never know if their eyelids sweat. But yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now I'm adding lashes from Shop Miss A. I believe these are similar to the Mila eyelashes by their line, but it's not from their line. It's by Cara lashes. Now I'm adding some primer. This is the Benefit Professional primer, just around her T-zone. She says she does get oily just in that area, so I'm adding it there. Now you see me adding foundation. I believe I mixed in the BH Cosmetics Flawless Foundation, something like that, and also the e.l.f. foundation. I wanted to add a green concealer, but you can see that I added it after the foundation, which I don't know why I did, but I did, and it did a really good job of covering up the redness. And despite of the foundation I used, it still really worked, and I'm really glad that it did, because even though it's drugstore, it still worked really good, guys. Now I'm adding some CoverGirl concealer, and I believe this is their lightest shade, or it is the second lightest shade, but you can see that she has pretty fair skin, and I wanted something that can highlight but still cover, and this does a pretty good job of doing so. Now I'm adding some powder. I lightly baked her face, nothing too much. I didn't want it to be too cakey, but I used a Maybelline powder in the shade Fair, I believe. Now I'm just setting it with some spray, doing some bronzer. I didn't want to add too much because that's where her acne is, and I didn't want to emphasize it too much. Now I'm adding some BH Cosmetics blush. It's a palette, and I just use 4 colors, and they all mix really good. Now you see me adding some highlight. Obviously she went for a natural look. I didn't want to put the highlight too beaming, but I wanted to put enough just so that you could see in pictures. And using this fan brush, it didn't distribute a lot. I have a brush that's more dense, and that makes it more opaque, but something just to dust on the face and make it all glowy. Now you see me putting some lipstick on her. This is the Bare Minerals It's like a liquid soft matte lipstick. I'm not sure what it really is, but it's in the color Boss, and it's like a pinky nude, something close to her color, her lip color. And that was pretty much it from our first client. This is going throughout the week, so this was one day, and the next few clients that I'm about to show you are a few days ahead. And I just sprayed her face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and just touching up the highlight. And yeah, and then you'll see that she asked her mom if it was okay. Moving on to my second client, you can see a routine here where I always spray my clients with the Mario Badescu spray. Despite of what they have on their face, I always want to make sure that it's hydrated. I cleaned her face prior, but after that, I always spray it with the Mario Badescu spray. Now I'm also using the same brow palette to fill in her brows. She didn't want something too bold, but something just to, enhance that her brows that she has. So for her eyes, I'm using the Balm palette. Nothing too much because she didn't ask for something bold, just something to enhance her features. I'm just using a light brown in the transition and like a gold shimmy shade in the inner corners. Here I'm just priming her face with the Benefit Professional, just in her T-zone where she also gets oily. And now I'm using the L'Oreal Lumi foundation. I believe it's in shade W4 Warm Beige. I have to check up on it, but I'll put it in the description once I know. But I'm just putting that all over her face. Usually for mature clients, I like to do something more thinner in consistency. Just something to not cake up on their face. And I'm using the Maybelline concealer just to, conceal any imperfection that she may have. Also using some Maybelline powder in the shade medium or light medium, I'm not sure. Now I'm lining her lips with the LA Colors lip liner. I got this off the Shop Miss A website, and she wanted a red lip, so I'm using the Anastasia liquid lipstick just to fill in her lips. And it doesn't show that I did clean up her lips, but I did. I don't know where that clip is, but I promise I cleaned up her lips just to have that sharp line. So this is my last client of the week, of that week. I'm doing the same prep as my first client, just prepping her face, moisturizing her face with the Tarte Cosmetics moisturizer and with a stipple brush from Shop Miss A. So for her eyes, I used a couple of palettes. This one I'm using the Crown palette, just using that second shade as a transition. And then I believe I went into the Morphe palette, yes. And I just deepened up her outer V just to have some depth. And then for the shimmer in her inner lid, I used the Huda Beauty Smokies Obsessions palette and used like this rose gold just to add some dimension and something to match her dress that she had. Now you see me adding some liner. I know that it looks messy. I know I'm still trying to perfect it, but in the end, I'm really just trying to cover up the lash band that she's going to have on. And the lashes that she used was from Shop Miss A, and it's in the style Scarlet. They're really, really similar to the Demi Wispies. One eye looks different from the other. I'm not sure why. One looks more curled or like higher, but in the end, she really liked it, and it's just the lashes that she really liked. So, yeah. As you can tell that I did use similar products as I did with the second client. Literally everything that I put on the second client face wise I used on this client. The same foundation, same primer, same concealer and whatnot. It worked out. But the lips that I used on her, it will show later, but it's the Makeup Forever lip liner and the Bare Minerals Boss liquid lipstick.